Hey everyone, so in today's video I wanted to do a super lightweight makeup look. If you are someone that just really hates the feeling of makeup on your skin, this is going to be the makeup look for you, but with the huge caveat that I personally think that a lot of super lightweight makeup can often look a little bit drying on the skin. So what we're really going to focus on in this video is something that is super skin-like and really sinks into the skin and becomes one with the skin, but is also equally lightweight and flattering on the skin, because what is the point of wearing lightweight makeup if it's not flattering on the skin? I hope it's really helpful, and if you enjoy it, I would love for you to subscribe. My name is Amanda, and I focus on really fresh makeup looks on my channel. But I'm specifically excited for this look in particular because I really want to let you guys know that you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose between a really skin-like look and something that isn't really creamy on the skin. We're actually going to be using very little powder products in this video, which I think you guys will find surprising. But first of all, we got to start with skin prep. There are a ton of different skin prep products that you can use. But what I think is really important is that skin prep is really going to decide the heft of the makeup look. So I think it's important, if you really like a lightweight makeup look, to go in with lightweight skincare products beforehand. So one of my favorite skincare items to use are essences and toners. I will leave some of my favorites down below. I also really love lightweight sunscreens. They're absolutely stunning. So I'm going to leave my skin prep down below for you guys because I think that's super important. Just to refresh my skin, because I did already apply skincare before, I'm going to use the Kosas Plump and Juicy Vegan Collagen Spray-On Serum. Now, the reason I really like this one is because it definitely feels hydrating on the skin, but it isn't an overly oily or creamy mist. It does definitely feel juicy and plumping on the skin, and I feel like my skin feels rejuvenated. But if you go on with something like the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, though I love that, my dry skin loves that, it does have more heft to it, and we're kind of trying to stay within this lightweight zone, if you will. Another tip that you can do is you can take some of that mist straight into your hand, press some on your finger, and then go around the areas where you typically start to get a little bit dry or crackly. So just go into those areas where you have, you know, any fine lines, and really massage that mist or essence or whatever your skin prep is right into those areas. You can see it's giving a nice glow. It has hydration, but it really doesn't feel like much on my skin whatsoever. And for foundation, I'm going to be using this one from KVD. It is the Full Coverage Serum Foundation. It's the Good Apple line. Now, I have already worn this once before. I'm only going to be using one dot to start because honestly, you guys, this feels like nothing. It has amazing coverage, but I think it's really easy to go overboard with a product like this. Something that I have really found over the years is that less really is more. So I'm just picking some up with my brush and just adding a very light layer to my skin. And part of what makes a product become one with the skin, I have found, is taking the time and using a brush with a slant or a sponge with, you know, a slant. Obviously, when you're pressing the product in, it kind of goes to a slant. But I personally find it helps to really press and sink the product into the skin. The more readily makeup does that, the more readily it's not going to feel like much. I can tell you guys right now that it looks like there is barely any product on my skin right now, but I got pretty freaking good coverage. I'm gonna use another pump now. That was my first pump. This is pump number 2. I'm already pretty much halfway done with the face. I think it's really nice to be cognizant of any areas where you have more peach fuzz. I find personally that peach fuzz is a top reason why makeup feels or looks heavier on the skin. Obviously, shaving is one way to mitigate the situation, but not all of us can shave every day. I have quite sensitive skin, and if I went in with a razor every day on this face, it would not be a good thing. So when you come across an area with a decent amount of peach fuzz, something that I have found in the past to be helpful is just to try to use a little bit less product when you can. Something I have found with this foundation, again, I'm still getting to know it, but something I've found is that in general, not only is it super lightweight, but it kind of dries down pretty fast. It has a self-setting quality to it. Finding those products, even if you have to work with them in sections on your face, I find using products like that opposed to a creamy product that you go in with powder, I find that that's the best way to get a truly lightweight texture on the skin. And listen, I'm not anti-powder. I mean, you know what, to some extent, I just find that it can add insult to injury with some skin types. But personally, I just find that with some formulas, they are unnecessary. Right now, I have to say that I'm incredibly impressed with how lightweight this really looks on the skin. I'm just going to take one last pump, and I'm going to use a damp sponge here. And I'm just going to take it in some of the areas where I think I need a little bit more coverage. And I'm just going to focus on pressing this into the skin. And I can also go on these areas like around the corner of the nose and take my time to really press the product in there. This also will help to take away any excess product as well. I find that doing this right at the end of applying product with a brush, especially with a lightweight formula, it's going to add a little bit more hydration if we need it because this is damp, but also it gives us the opportunity to go back in and add coverage, make sure that we are creating one very even canvas on the skin. I think for those of you with more combo oily skin and you're just like, Amanda, I love a natural makeup look. I love something that looks like skin, but I need it to be long wearing. I need it to feel like nothing on my skin. I think you're gonna be really a big fan of this. Not just the foundation, but you know, the whole look. Now, really easy way to keep this going, a very lightweight look, is to just take foundation right under the eyes. Sometimes I find that that looks even more natural, if I'm being completely honest. But for me personally, I need hydration under my eyes. I have more dry skin. So this is the most lightweight concealer that still doesn't exaggerate the hollows that I have under my eyes. It's just that kind of perfect balance for my skin type in specific. It is from Armani. It is the Luminous Silk Concealer. So you can see from the texture, it has way more emollients than the last formula we tried. But I need that under the eyes because too lightweight of a formula for the thin skin under my eyes, it can actually have the opposite effect. It can actually look heavier. So it's all about finding a formula with a balance. I like that this formula is lightweight, creamy, but not too creamy. It has more of a light to medium coverage. So what I like to do just to amp up that coverage is to go ahead and get into the brows. You know, we're doing some multitasking here. As the concealer kind of sets down a little bit, I'm going to get more coverage that way. So speaking of very lightweight products, the Bonnie Brow Defining Pencil from Westman Atelier, not only does it have a removable spoolie, which I personally just find to be really nice for control, it has a beautiful slanted brow pencil that in general is just so lightweight in the brow, And something that I think is incredibly underrated as far as brows go is a brow that doesn't look like there's a ton of product in it. For me, personally, I love a hefty brow. I love a fluffy brow, but something that just grinds my gears a little bit is when I'm doing my brows. And at the end of everything, I can just feel and see the color in my brows. It ends up for me feeling distracting to my overall makeup look. And you will notice that especially in the front section of your brows. You know, there is more likely to be a sparse area for most of us there because, you know, that's the first place you go in with a tweezer and over tweeze. My best tip is to use a product like this that kind of has a little bit more of a powdery finish to it. It's still a pencil, but it feels kind of like a brow powder in the brows. Use this in the brows and continue to use the spoolie to get an even blend. You'll see that the front of the brows, you know, if I just fluff them up right here, I'm not gonna obviously keep them like this, but you can see within the front of the brows, it's not overly coated in brow product. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit closer, that's better. So again, now I'm taking my sponge, pressing that concealer in. It looks hydrated, but it doesn't look too thick. Now, as far as cream products go, you can still use cream products. You can use cream products and still get a really lightweight finish on your skin and, you know, an overall texture. Something I wanted to mention at the beginning of this video, I can't 100% recommend this yet, but I want to go ahead and mention that if you are someone that loves a bronze all over look on your face, but you don't want to use something like the De-Bronzy serum, you find that they're too thick or they're not even, try using something like a sun gel. This is the Sun-Kissed Face Jelly from Clinique, and it is literally a translucent bronze gel that is going to feel like nothing on your skin. I'm actually going to take a little bit with a brush and see how it applies. This is more so like an experiment. So, you know, again, just being honest here, it's an experiment. This is why I wanted to buy it, is that I wanted to use it to match my self-tan when I self-tan, but I also wanted to see, hey, like maybe this applies well with foundation already on. So I'm going to take some, again, this feels like water, and I'm just going to press it into my skin. Yeah, right now it feels like water. There's nothing to me that feels heavy about this. This is blending really, really well, and it looks truly like skin, and the texture itself, it feels weightless. And I'm just pressing that in. This is the BK 112 brush. I've just been really, really liking it. You can see it has a slant, so we're still working in those pressing motions with this. One thing that is really, really nice about lightweight textures when it comes to creams is that if you already have a lightweight foundation going, the textures are just going to get along a lot better. I'm just taking some onto the forehead as well. I don't know how it's coming across on camera right now. Obviously, I'm using this for the first time in this way, but I just feel like it does not even look like makeup in the best possible way. I'm gonna take some a little bit, you know, like on the jaw. It's really reminding me of that same texture as the Chanel Le Tint. I really hope that's the name. I'm gonna put a little picture over here. It's that water-based product that feels like literally nothing on the skin. If you don't want as much coverage as I have going in this look today, that is another absolutely beautiful lightweight foundation skin tint. It's going to give you a little bit less coverage, but it's still going to feel like nothing. Something else that I'm finding interesting is that you can see as this sits and I kind of mix it in with my foundation, it doesn't look like orange like I was expecting it to look. I was just a little bit scared when I, you know, put it out on my hand at first in these lights. But no, I mean, I think it looks really natural. But something else that I am finding super promising is that I went to wash my hands and look, it left a stain. Like this is like a jelly water bronzer stain. I feel like I'm onto something here. My dad actually used to have these in like a different form growing up. Like Clinique like marketed it to men. Like I feel like this is the exact same product, but in their men's line, they just like put another name on it or something because I don't know, the patriarchy or whatever. I also have my eye on the Chanel blushes. They're liquid blushes that are more of that water texture. I have a feeling that this is like kind of a similar texture once it's on the skin. I'll leave another picture over here of what I'm talking about. I gotta tell you right now, the skin is looking so lightweight and it looks like there's nothing on, but this is like a full medium coverage. I'm really, really pleased with it. Now for blush, I have two options here. I wanted to include an affordable option as well, but the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin line in general is a very lightweight line. It's more silicone based. And this is the shade Jubilee. I don't like the Yummy Skin powder, so I have to like throw that out there. But I have used this one before and it just feels like nothing on the skin and it just like melts right in. So I'm excited about this one. But not only that, I also wanted to call your attention to this affordable favorite. It's from Cat. It's the Blushmallow Cream Blusher. And something that you can kind of see here is that it has this kind of squishy texture to it. So it's creamy, but it kind of sets down immediately as you put it onto the skin, which I think is really nice. So I think this is also like, I feel like these are both similar shades. So this is the shade Thank You Very Much from Cat, and then this is the shade Jubilee on top of that from Danessa Myricks. These shades are so similar, like insanely similar. I blended them out a little bit. I think there's just a touch more vibrancy from the one from Danessa Myricks. So if you have a little bit more melanin, that might be a better way to go. But I think today I'm going to go ahead in with the Cat just because I haven't used it in so long, and just feathering this over the skin. Also, I have an itch on my eye, so I'm patting it. That was one dip into the product, and I feel like that added just a beautiful, beautiful blushed effect. Just going to take my sponge and really press it in, make sure it's all blended. And yeah, that looks like an incredibly lightweight blush look. Doing the same thing over here. And the two textures, you know, that jelly liquid bronzer with this one from Cat, because they're both so thin, they work excellently together. Complexion is looking really good and it feels like there is nothing on my skin. But let's go ahead into the eyes. With liquid makeup and cream makeup, especially on the eyes, to kind of find that balance between a lightweight kind of long wear texture, but you don't want it to be too crackly or dry or heavy on the eyes, because again, that can kind of have the opposite effect. When something is too dry and crackly, it can kind of sink and weigh the skin down. A product that I would recommend to you all are the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paints. I also have one from Wet n Wild around here. Oh, the Wet n Wild Shadow Slick Liquid Eyeshadows are also a really good option if you want to go with something more affordable. I think for today, I'm going to use a little bit of Smell Before Rain from About Face to set my crease. And again, this is just going to make sure that I'm not going to get any awkward creasing or crackling throughout the day. It really is a smoothing product, which I love. Just taking a big old fluffy brush and just working that in. If I'm going out for the night and I need everything to last longer, there is like a 99.9% chance I'm going in with this into the crease. It works almost like a prep product for me. And I just love the tone as well. It's not overly warm. It almost is like a touch olive. And now we are all prepped. You can take it like all over the lid as well. I just like to concentrate it where I get creasing, which is the crease. Then I'm going to take the shade Cloned from About Face. This is a really pretty warm chocolatey brown. And I'm just taking that onto the outer corners a bit. And I'm just gonna kind of flare it out a little bit. And one thing I love about these, and I've talked about this for so long on my channel, I love how workable they are. They don't go crackly and dry like I've been mentioning, but they just wanna blend. You don't have to worry about them drying down too fast, which is really important in my opinion. I mean, you can see I've been blending this out. I still have this sitting here waiting for me to blend, and look, it still is sitting here and blending just as easily. But they also sit down and last long. So it's nice when you find makeup products that you don't have to choose. I think they are definitely worth looking into if you guys have been interested in any of them. Just blending, and you can see now we have just a really nice kind of fanned out, blown out look, and it looks so lightweight. I mean, you would think it was powder, but it has more of a smoothing effect than powder can alone. But let's say, you know, a matte is nice, matte's nice, but we want to go in with a little bit of glitter, a little bit of something, and I have just the thing for us. Use a liquid glitter that sets down and still feels really lightweight. So this is from Stila. It is the Glisten and Glow. Not to be confused with the Glitter and Glows or even the Shimmer and Glows. Glisten and Glow. It's a completely new formula. It came out, I believe, last year, and really no one talks about it. I don't know why, because I just think that they're so beautiful. They're the most beautiful translucent glitter that adds this gorgeous wet effect. So it would not be an Amanda Z special if we did not add a wet glitter on the eyes. If you guys aren't aware, that's my thing. So I'm just going to take it right onto the inner portion of my eye and take my finger and just press it on in. And this, again, it feels like water. It doesn't feel like cream, but look at that glossy wet effect that it has given back to this look. And it's going to last. And by the way, this is the shade Kitten Kaleidoscope. It's the shade that I most often reach for. I just love it. Just pressing that right in. No fallout. Beautiful wet looking glitter. And I kind of take it like all the way up. I really like the effect it gives the eyes. And you can certainly build it up in certain areas, and this won't go crackly on you, which I really like. Now, as far as the lashes go, if you really want that super lightweight look to the lashes, you don't want to feel the mascara on the eyes, that's something that really upsets you, because I know some people deal with contacts, they have runny eyes. I have two different options here. So the first one is this mascara from Isehan, I believe. I'll leave it down below. It is a Japanese sunscreen, and I have the brown one. This lasts through everything. It's the brown version. Did I already say that? And it looks just like your lashes, except it holds that curl. You are going to need an oil cleanser to get it off. This does not budge, but you know, it will remove with an oil cleanser. But if you have very straight eyelashes that don't hold a curl, and you also don't like a really chunky lash, and you want that really wide open effect, this mascara is really great. But it is heavy duty stuff. I mean, for wedding, like wedding makeup, I would also definitely recommend this. If you don't want to go all out with a waterproof mascara, you could also use something like this. This is the Theyre Real Tinted Primer from Benefit, and I find that this gives a similar effect in that it is very lightweight in the lashes. It's meant to be a primer. It's going to look just very fluffy and just like your lashes. It's not going to be very heavy. You're not going to be seeing your mascara in your periphery, you know, floating around. Personally, because I'm on camera, when I go with a really natural mascara, I feel like I'm a bit washed out. So I'm not going to apply those today just because I have other things that I want to film. I think for the mascara I'm actually going to use, my Tower 28 Make Waves is a go-to. This is also really long lasting as well. By the way, I don't know what happened over here, but I got some sort of weird makeup over here, and then I took, you know, I'm trying to blend it out and it removed a little bit of my blush. So I'm just gonna finesse this a little bit. I think it was probably some leftover mascara. I'm also going to use a clear brow gel from Anastasia, just a light coat in the brows to set them. And I think we should go ahead into the lips. I think a lot of us know that lip products that feel like nothing on the lips often are very drying. But there are other options. One of my favorite formulas is the Juicy Lasting Tint from Roman. I'm going to leave it down below for you guys. I do have a code, I think I have a discount code still with Stylovana active, so I'll leave it down below. But this is a K-Beauty brand, the Juicy Lasting Tint. This is the shade Dark Coconut. This feels so lightweight on the lips, but still hydrating. And by the way, it smells amazing. Like strawberries. Again, it goes on and it just feels like water, but it also has this beautiful staining effect on the lips, so it's going to last. And this shade Dark Coconut, ugh, it is gorgeous. All right, and my last tip for you guys, I shouldn't have taken down my hair before I did this, but oh well. The last tip I have for you guys for a long wear but lightweight kind of makeup look is to use a setting mist that isn't going to leave an awkward heavy film, but is still going to like really set everything in place. This one from Charlotte Tilbury is a bomb one, especially if you like to skip powder. It's the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. It makes everything last a long time too. It does a good job of like creating that set on the makeup without adding a heaviness. I really hope you guys can truly see how just lightweight everything looks on the skin. It really does not look like there's a lot of product on my skin, but everything feels secure. Really, really lightweight, but not drying whatsoever. So that is my light as air makeup tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed because I would love to have you back for my next one. And I will see you then.